answers, guys. Just say what your opinion is. All about different opinions. We don't. That's all that I go for. Doesn't matter how stupid it sounds, how crazy it sounds. Hot takes, man. It's all about hot takes. All
Yeah.
right, y'all.
All right.
Let's. All right, welcome to another episode of Hoops with JV. I'm Jad, here with my brother Jordan, here with Michaela, special guest, and my uncle Lou. We got the hot topics for you today. We've got, first off, we got the All-Star votes are out. The official roster is there. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about Anthony Edwards and LeBron James missing out. Um, do you agree with the 2026 All-Star meetings? We'll stay tuned. The Golden State Warriors, Jimmy Butler is out for the rest of the season due to a torn ACL. Where did the Warriors go from here? We'll also talk about the Knicks' recent struggles, how they've lost 9 out of the 10 games, and it seems like Cat is on the way out. Stay tuned. And more Laker talk. We'll talk about the Lakers' recent up and down struggles the past couple of games, as you know, AR is still sidelined. So for those who are watching, thank you for continuing to watching and follow us. Yeah, so let's get started. So the All Star votes are out. Michaela, you're the one who brought it down to us. So I think the players are, if we look at the East, it was
Kate
SGA.
Cunningham,
Yeah,
Brunson,
yeah. Who else?
Giannis,
Giannis,
What?
Maxi.
Tyrese
Yes.
Maxey. Yeah, and then in the
And
West,
in the West, we've got SGA, Luka, Jokic,
yeah.
Curry, and who's the fifth one?
What? It sounds
Come,
like Curry.
your man. It's your man.
What? Wait,
Victor.
SGA, Jokic, Doncic, Curry,
It's an
and
alien.
it's a what?
Your brother,
It's an alien.
alien.
Oh, Wendy! My
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, that's
yeah,
it.
he's
That's
a
the
hero.
one.
Yep.
And so yeah, surprisingly, Jalen Brown, obviously no Tatum, so Celtics, Jalen Brown kind of makes sense. Um, what did you think? I'll start off with you. So obviously, because LeBron's not there this year. There's a few people that we've well known not this year, like Paul George is an example, Donovan Mitchell from the Cavs, for example, Joel Embiid, for example, like all the stars that we've known, all of a sudden these random ones that people are probably not familiar with. So what did it? What Mikhail? What do you think of the West? Do you think that was Do you think it was
No,
a
it's
fair
not
vote?
fair. Anthony Edwards should have been in there for sure, and he was snubbed. Um, I thought LeBron should have been in there, but I understand why, because I think, we spoke about it, and like he wasn't, he probably put in, like he probably showed some negativity at the last All Star, sitting out last minute instead of giving his spot to someone, like early on. But Anthony Edwards is the big one. He should have definitely been in it. You explained it to me that they're a low market team, and he's coming, but he's not there yet. But I still think he should have been in there for sure as a starter.
And then Jordan, what about you? What did you think?
What do I think about the For me, being honest, I kind of agree with Caleb about the fact with Anthony Edwards. His numbers grew this year. He has a much better stat than Steph Curry. And aside from that, leading his team to the number fourth seed in the West is a really hard accomplishment. Knowing that, you have certain guys who haven't been playing out the way that they're supposed to be playing this year. And, especially in the West, it's really hard to carry a team in the West, especially top four. So, yeah, I feel like he should have been there. He should have been part of the All-Star selection. Um, to me, with this All-Star selection, it's kind of weird because, like, you know, it's you have like 3 point guards in each
Yeah,
conference. You know how, like, for me, I feel like they should have selected each All Star based on their position. You have your point guard, you have your shooting guard, but not like for instance, yeah, with the East, you have basically like four guards and one power forward with Giannis, and then with the West, you have two centers and 3 point guards. So it just doesn't like make sense. Obviously the matchup, like if they're gonna head on face to face, definitely I'm going with the West on this lineup. Um, but yeah, with LeBron, I feel like Mikhail was right about last year's All Star. It was kind of disappointing with what LeBron did. But aside from that, his performance coming off an injury and stuff, it's not really an like a starter All Star caliber. And aside from that, there are other forwards who deserve to be part of the starting lineup for the All Star game aside from him. So, like he's definitely gonna be an All Star, but I just don't see him being a starter for this year's All Star. Um, and Jokic is totally a deserving player to be in the All Star, especially Wemby. Congrats to him being, you know, making his first All Star appearance. I feel like last year he should have been an All Star. Incredible rookie season. But yeah, this year he totally deserved it, especially how the Spurs are, looking into this season being number two, just behind OKC, and it's been like an incredible, you know, matchup against OKC, knowing that they defeated him 3 times in a row. So to me, that says a lot. Growing from a lottery team last year to being a top two team this season. So congrats to him, and I definitely do hope that Stephon Castle becomes an All Star this year as well because he's been playing amazing basketball for the Spurs. Especially how Darren Fox, just came back midway through the season, and Stephon Castle's been holding his ground as a point guard for them. So yeah, pretty much that's all I have to say about the West. For the East side,
Spurs.
um, all of the players that have been selected in the East side truly deserving. Jalen Bronson obviously deserves it. Jalen Brown, no words. Like he's truly amazing what he's done for the Celtics this season, especially losing, especially
Tatum.
losing players from last year. So I'm really impressed with how Jalen Brown has been performing this season. Especially like I said a few episodes ago about him proving why he's worth $300 million dollars for his contract, and he's definitely proving why he's worth that much. Tyrese Maxey, every year he's just been improving, and this year scoring 30 points a game. I mean that's really amazing for for him to be at this stage of his career, and it's a really huge leap for him. And then for Cade Cunningham, truly deserving, like the Detroit Pistons, they shocked me, being number one in the East. Like I thought they were going to be a downgrade after losing Shooter, losing
Tim
Malik Beasley,
Hardaway, yeah.
yeah,
A bunch of shooters.
and
That
then
was a lot of shooters.
yeah, but again, you replaced them with Duncan Robinson. Um, you know, Duncan Robinson's been a really key player for them as well this season, and it's really nice knowing that with their roster they just chose to develop them instead of get rid half the roster and then try to build off with another. So it's really good that they just chose to develop their roster, and look where it got them. Like it was totally worth it. But yeah, Kate Cunningham is such a great leader. Like I said, he's a truly deserving All Star, truly deserving of his own basketball shoe. And aside from that, you know, I like to see how far the Pistons will go from here, especially his leadership just grown throughout the years. And then with Giannis, I feel sorry for the Bucks at this position at this time of the year, but still, he every time he plays, he's always going all out, pure heart, pure Mamba mentality, and yeah, truly deserving All Star. So yeah, that's what I have to say about the All Star starters for this year.
Wait, I want to say something. Did you know that
Yeah, go for it.
Wemby and Ant? Did you know that Wemby and Ant had tied votes?
Oh yeah, I did, but you know, I feel like they gave it to Wemby because at the end of the day, there's too many guards. And aside from that, I feel like people would definitely be mad if Wemby wasn't part of the All Star selection, knowing that he's been one of the top defensive players in this year in stats, and in points he's been doing well. So obviously he's truly a deserving player to be part of the All Star selection.
See, I kind of disagree, and here's why.
Yeah, go for it, Kuya.
In the past,
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Lou, correct me if I'm wrong. The All Star games was meant to be all the greatest stars from every team
Yep.
get voted in together. It's not even a vote. It's just we all know we're expecting every star to be in
Yeah.
this. Now, when
Absolutely.
this list was announced, I was shocked at the players that they were there because there's obviously much older players that we're still watching that are still producing, but
Yep.
instead they're trying to push the younger guys to being they are today's modern NBA.
Yeah.
So you're kind of disrespecting the older people. Like to choose Donovan Mitchell, like to choose Jalen Brunson or Cade Cunningham over Donovan Mitchell. Even though despite the Cavs differences, like the struggles of the Cavs, you know what I mean. Mikhail, you had a question like why, how does it work? How come Ant isn't in this noise? Like why is it like I don't get? He should be in this. Correct,
Mm-hmm.
but because of the Spurs situation, they're currently number two, as you said,
Yeah.
Jordan. To your point, they've beaten OKC 3 times. Um, it the market, the attention towards the Spurs has gone up. Um,
Yep.
whereas the Minnesota Timberwolves, they haven't really done anything outside of getting into the playoffs and getting into like the second round. And then
Yep.
every year you're supposed to upgrade your roster. The reason why you upgrade your roster is so that you can get better for the next season. But Minnesota Timberwolves for the
Yep.
past 2 years they haven't done anything. Whereas the Spurs they're slowly developing their players and now they're becoming more together. That's why they're winning games the way that they are. Whereas Minnesota, you
Yeah.
can see they're literally the reason why they're losing games is because other teams have figured them out. So they're not getting the
Yeah.
enough attention that they deserve, knowing that they're going to be in the playoffs. But it's because the fact that they're still the same, the audience doesn't really care or have any interest because of the exact same team from last year. Every year we're expecting new players, new threats, and so that's why the Spurs, Victor obviously was chosen over Ant. Um, over to the east side, um, it's kind of weird to see Brunson and Cade there for me is because they're younger. Um, but who else in the East can you really go for? Like Trey Young isn't, even though he was an All Star. He's
Yep.
his attention span, like his activity, has been nonchalant ever since his injury, ever since the situation in Atlanta, and him being traded to the Wizards. No one really pays attention to those two teams because they're, let's face it, they're not really that good. So they're the only things there. Uh, it's weird for me that I've noticed that back then they used to do a few players from every team. Like you remember the previous All Star games, you had like 3 players from Golden State Warriors apart from of this All Star team. You had Miami Heat, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and stuff like that in the All Star games. Here they decided we're gonna take one of each team,
Yeah.
but I think it's because the formats changed, like the voting, like the way that they've
Yep.
constructed the All
Oh,
Star game now.
yeah.
So that's kind of like you said about the roster. There's what was it, four guards, one power forward, Michaela, that you said that was there, and then in the West we
Sure.
had 2 centers and 3 guards,
Yep.
which kind
For
of
the for,
which kind of tells. It looks good on paper. It looks good for the pay-per-view, but what you're kind of telling me is when the All-Star game comes, it's gonna be you think it's gonna be hype, but really it's gonna be boring because we can already see it's already lopsided to
yep.
one end.
Yeah.
Isn't
So
it if it's USA versus the world though? Isn't it like the Euros versus like as in Shea, Doncic,
yes,
Wemby versus like Jalen Brown and stuff? Is that how the
Yep.
format is
yeah,
now?
yeah.
That's how the format goes. Yeah.
So all the players that Mikhail, all the European, all the non-USA players list. If you match them up 1-to-1 against the USA team, who wins? Bear in mind, you
Definitely.
already know how big they have Giannis, Jokic, and Victor. That's how big they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah, they're winning.
So it's kind of like it's nice to see that they've made the All-Star team, but the entertainment's not there. And I think that's the one thing of it. Like I don't know what they're trying to do. Like I I had a thing to fix the All-Star game. I had an idea. Go back to the rules were back then, where we get the best of the best of all the teams, like Steph Curry, Paul George, James Harden, Kevin Durant. You pick all those guys, all the best from East and West, and instead we have an NBA Cup, right? Why can't we have an All Star Cup? Why can't we have like an All Star like to represent like the East or the West every year? Because I think that would bring like competitiveness, like a playoff, like a Game 7 type atmosphere.
I think that sounds like a good idea.
Instead of this charity thing, like it sounded great, but you could tell they weren't really into it. Obviously it's the charity, but like I think if they were awarded or fighting for something that could be in the history books, like as like to say I'm a champion or I represented the West of this year's, I think that would bring back excitement and
What would bring back excitement? I read this in somewhere in Reddit. Like whoever wins in the All-Star game, if it's either East or West, like if East wins, whoever's in the East in the finals, they get home court advantage. Like that's their consolation prize. Like whoever wins in the All-Star, they get finals advantage. And I feel like that's a huge thing, because you know how home court advantage is a really key factor for a team to win games. So like when I read that in Reddit, like it makes sense, but then again, it's kind of unfair to those who have a higher standings against the other team. So like let's say the Warriors are 73-9 against an Eastern team that's like what 41 and 41. So like obviously Golden State has the upper hand since they have a better record, but that's the only thing. That's the only downside I see about it. But like if you reward the winning team that they have final home court advantage in the finals, well, that's a really huge jump. So yeah, that's one thing that I kind of like the idea of it, but it's just it has its pros and cons. But I think that's one thing that could make it realistic to be more competitive in the game. Because back then, like you can see they've done these charity things. Like if the West wins, or like whatever team wins in each quarter, the donation for each charity just increases. And like you can see, like the competitiveness wasn't there. I know the money's not for the players, but at the end of the day, it's for charity, and yet you see them playing with no heart. They're just like they're just enjoying too much. Like they're seeing it as like a practice game or like a celebrity game at this point.
That's why I say if we had a cup, we had a cup and every player gets awarded, I think that would bring the players.
The reason why the NBA Cup was a really huge factor is because the players on those teams in the NBA Cup, the players that are like two-way contract players, the ones who are on a low contract, like they get paid regardless. They're getting guaranteed 500,000 in their contract. So that's something worth fighting for. Unlike for the All-Star, of course, all All-Star players, they're earning bank. So money doesn't do anything to them. So like, like even just like at the end of the day, like it's not a really accomplishment for them. It's not something that they need. Unlike for the NBA Cup, players were rooting for their star players to win it all for them. So for me, like I feel like the intensity that you want from the NBA Cup is just not gonna be say workable for the All-Star game format, because like I don't know, it's just weird to see how you can bring back the competitiveness in the All-Star game. Because back then, the last time we had a competitive All-Star game was the 2021, and that was one of the greatest All-Stars I've seen. And to me, the reason why they became competitive is because Kobe died.
Yeah.
And you saw how everyone was just eager to win so bad. Like that game was dedicated to Kobe because of the Mamba mentality. And ever since he disappeared, after that All-Star game, it just wasn't the same anymore, because they had nothing else to to dedicate the game to. So it's just kind of annoying that why can't we just stick with this format knowing it was a success, and then 2 all-star seasons later on they decide to change it. But it's like I don't know what they're doing at this point. So
I think they're
it
running
just
out of ideas, dude.
yeah, exactly. And then not only that, the ideas that they put into the all-star game, it's absolute horseshit. It doesn't do the game any favor, doesn't do the fans any justice. Like, fuck, like, what is this? So with this year's All Star, I feel like again looking into the European lineup, is they're gonna be stacked.
Yeah.
Like having Jokic, Wemby, and Giannis in the same team. That's like
It's quite
that's
heavy.
like
Yeah.
it's like you're playing 5 against 8 at this point.
Yeah.
The West, sorry, not the West. The European team is gonna smoke the USA team. I swear to God. Especially you have Luka in that team. You have Shea. Because I mean,
Nah,
I'm not.
SGA is just gonna flop his way through. That's all right.
Yeah. Because with the world team, because Shea's not part of the USA team because he's Canadian. So
Yeah.
again, the world team is gonna smoke the USA team by a mile. So I don't really see the excitement because like what Kuya said, like you already know who's gonna come out on top in this year's All-Star. So I don't know, like I feel like they should bring it back to East versus West, but they should probably give something to make the players want to win it so bad.
That's why again.
But you know what's interesting here? There's 4 12-minute games. I think that should be interesting because it's such a small frame of time to
But it
to
should
showcase your skills and stuff like that. I think that's
But
the only thing that's appealing to me.
honestly, to me, it should have been 48 minutes. The best of the West players, best of the players in the East. You guys you call your own subs, play to win. Because then you can finally say like, oh, the West is actually like you could say the East is actually better than the West, vice versa. Like I think that's the problem. Like no one they don't take these All-Star games the same way that they used to back then. Like there was a lot of it was like street ball.
Yeah.
All the players that were playing back in the day were
Yeah.
from the streets. Like we don't care if it's a practice game, open run, NBA game, preseason. We're coming in. We're coming to kick your ass. We're here to win, and that's what they. It's not something that they had to learn. It's something they were born with. That's who they are. And I think this generation or today's NBA or today's players, they're all just about stats. They're all just about highlights. They're all just about adding to their award rooms. Like I'm an all-star, or I'm a 6th man of the year. Like at the end of the day, like we don't give a shit about that. We want to see you guys compete.
I think they're taking the fun element of I think they forgot how to have fun now.
Yeah.
With the game of basketball as well.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, when people were clashing back then, it was a lot of suspense. Like, we don't know who's going to win because that's how tough they were, like, feeding each other. Like, they were beating each other up. That we don't know who was going to fall. We don't know who's going to win. Whereas now, it's all become a shooting contest that it just depends if it's your night. It just depends if the ball's going to go in for you that night or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And I will talk about that more later on about the shooting and stuff like that. So I think we'll move on now to the next topic. So the next topic I wanted to discuss.
Before we move to the next topic, Kuya, I saw a while ago it said we had 40 minutes, and that was 30 minutes ago. I think this might die. Yeah,
okay.
It might die.
I think what we'll do is we'll go for a quick break, and then I'll call you guys back.
Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back. So the next topic I want to discuss are the Golden State Warriors. Unfortunately, Jimmy Butler is having a season-ending due to a torn ACL, so he's done for the season. They're currently 8th in the West, and they're looking to. So the Golden State Warriors are planning on looking to trade Jimmy, in hopes of bringing in some pieces to have a playoff run for Steph this season or for their season, or they may as well go all out this season. Uncle Leo, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts of the Golden State Warriors?
To summarize it, Just to keep it brief, the Golden State Warriors, I reckon they have roughly about 81% chance of making the playoffs. Because according to my sources, their odds are as minus 450. They're currently ranked in the eighth, okay, Western Conference with a 21-19 record. I'm just gonna say if the season ended today, they'd face number 7 Phoenix Suns in the play-in tournament, but they just uh, lost to Toronto Raptors, I think. But they have shown flashes of potential with 4-game win streak before Jimmy Butler's ACL injury, but like their NBA championship odds they've spiked because of Jimmy Butler's injury. But I think Jimmy Butler's injury is it's a significant blow to their title hopes. Steph Curry's, he's going to be Steph Curry. Like his MVP level performance is crucial to their success. But the team needs to maintain consistency and build a strong defensive identity, I reckon. And I think that that's what I think about him for the time being. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I
Yeah.
totally agree. You're spot on. Michaela, what do you think? If you're not so busy, what did you think about?
I think Steph's washed. Like, he's retiring. He's on his way out, and they're trying to get him a 5th ring just, for old time's sake. But it's not happening. They're forcing it. Ant's got better stats than him. He's struggling with Jimmy, and now he doesn't have Jimmy. Like, it's not happening. Hot take.
What do you think of the roster around the Warriors, based on the games that we've watched?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention much. Cut this out.
That's no, it's all good. Jordan, what
I
about
don't know.
you? What do you think of? What are your thoughts about Jimmy being out? What can the Warriors do from here to try and save this season? You're on mute.
Jordan?
You're on mute, my man.
The only way for the Golden State Warriors to save their season or at least win the championship this season is to go out to the desert, find a genie, make 3 wishes, and wish that they win the NBA champion.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, but that's where they are at the moment, man. They're going through a bit of a rough patch, man.
Yeah, so that's I feel like that's the only way for them to actually save their season. But if they don't have that in the option, well, fuck they season. But
Even to add to that, I think Jonathan Kuminga has demanded a trade as well.
Yeah.
he did.
Yes.
So
But
they're
the
exploring their options here.
Yeah, the thing is with Jonathan Kuminga, the situation, Mike Dunleavy had a press conference earlier today. He stated that they're not willing to, trade multiple first round picks unless it's for a decent superstar. Second, they don't really envision trading Jimmy. And lastly, the market for Kuminga's value is really low, so he's not really in demand at the moment. So I feel like why the Warriors played him this against Toronto is to showcase other teams that Kuminga can ball. Kuminga was pretty efficient tonight with 7 out of 10 field goals, scoring 20 points off the bench. But you can clearly see, they use him just to showcase that he has value. But for the Golden State Warriors this season, it's pretty much over. They don't have a second scorer on that team that they can rely on. I mean, Brandon Podziemski, God forbid that name. He's been playing consistent lately for the past 4 games. He's been scoring at least 17 points or over for the past 4 games, and pretty good. But still, it's not really enough. Like Jimmy Butler. But the thing is, Jimmy Butler is I feel like he's the one who's about to be washed after he comes back from his recovery, because knowing the fact that he's 36 and definitely going to be 37 by the time he comes back around, I feel like he has nothing left, to offer for the team. And the fact that he's worth $57 million per season, that says a lot. So I don't think any team's going to be willing to trade for Jimmy Butler, even though the Warriors try to trade him. I feel like that's going to be the number one thing that teams are going to be looking out for, is the fact that, one, he's worth too much, and they'd have to give up a lot just to acquire him. And two is his age. It's like, at the end of the day, you're trading for old legs when you can get someone younger, someone who's a better scorer. And we know, and like for the past season, and especially last season, it's kind of sad to see that Jimmy hasn't been Jimmy. And I feel like, those Miami Heat days are now behind him, the way that he's been performing for the Miami Heat. So, looking at it, for me, there's no more value. There's no more value for Jimmy Butler in the trade market, along with Kuminga. So I really don't see Golden State making any moves unless they get rid of Jimmy Butler, or if someone picks him up, and from there they can start reconstructing. But for them to be a playoff team this season, I don't think so. If they make the play-in, that's a huge blessing for them. But to make the actual playoffs, if they do, they're getting smoked in the first round. I love Golden State, being honest. Truly love them. Especially, it's sad to see that Curry's going to be going out this way, knowing that he's second, best scorer in the team is out. It's just sad to see that, an all-star caliber like him is going to go down like this. So I really don't see the Golden State Warriors pushing to the playoffs this season. So it's pretty sad.
I agree.
How ironic and how funny, not funny, but how crazy is it that Jimmy went down at the hands of Miami?
Exactly.
I was like, damn.
Out of all teams, it just
That's
had to be.
Season. I know, it was his season ender, possibly career ender, and it was with Miami.
See, that's karma for not
I was just gonna say
wanting
it's karma.
not wanting to participate with Miami.
Yeah,
That's the
it
karma.
is.
It's unfortunate. I have to agree with everyone, but I'm gonna take it on a different angle. See, the problem with the Golden State Warriors, I thought they had a chance with Butler, Al Horford. Like I said this many times, because of how Jimmy plays with Steph, is that he can create his own shots inside the paint. And that's the one thing that they lack so much since the championship runs. Steve Kerr has focused everything to be around Steph, which is give him the ball, find him, and to shoot him. And all these young guys, they're not looking at the rim. They're taught to look for Steph so that he can make a play. And as a basketball player, all of us, when you have the ball, make something out of it. Don't just be a part of the system. I always thought, like, you want to. I don't want to do make the great pass, like do the right pass to stay in the game. Be aggressive, and I just don't think anyone in that team that I can name is aggressive other than Steph, and in a way Draymond Green. You don't have Butler anymore, and this is kind of the worst time, because now you need Jonathan Kuminga, but he just asked for a trade, and it's rare for players to rescind a trade, because the one thing I've known in history, the moment a player asks for a trade, he's gone. It doesn't matter when. They can play tomorrow. Yeah. He's traded the next day. Like once they have, like the managers have no choice but to see it through to the end. Once that news breaks out that this player has requested a trade, the only time in history that I've known that it's been rescinded was the rumors that Kobe was going to go get traded to the Bulls. And this was during like the Shaq time, and that's when Shaq ended up in Miami, and therefore Lakers. Kobe decided to change his mind. That's the only time. Outside of that, I found it hard to believe in 2018 when Kyrie requested a trade from the Cavs after just getting bounced off the finals. I thought that was just whatever. and then all of a sudden he's traded to the Celtics. So from that point on, I knew the moment you see that article, this particular player has requested a trade, they're gone. Just expect them to leave. Like, this is why you hear rumors that Giannis is telling the world, I have no intentions of leaving Milwaukee. So that's known. John Morant has also announced he is not looking to, he wants to be with Memphis. So now we know that come the trade deadline, don't expect those players to be moved. Anything, but other than that, everyone else is gone. So expect Kuminga, but it's kind of bad timing because again, Jimmy's out. We need a player like Kuminga who can be aggressive and attack the paint. Now they have no one to attack the paint.
Yeah.
And at the same time, so again, we're saying like the players that they're young. I feel like the way that they've constructed it is they've constructed it with a lot of outside shooting, but they never thought of like a plan B or plan C, like post games, screens cut. Like they make cuts, but then what's stupid is when a player cuts into the lane, that motherfucker, instead of shooting it under the rim, he chooses to pass it out to the 3-point line, and we're back to being outside of the 3-point line. So they've got a weird system that they're all just about shooting. So I agree with you guys. I don't expect them to. I expect them to be bounced out of the 8th spot, particularly not even making the play-in. Because you needed someone like Jimmy, and to your point, by the time he comes back, he'll be 37. I'm not gonna hold my breath trying to rebuild my roster around, and then in hopes when Jimmy comes, boom, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a shadow realm for Golden State. Like Steph's just gonna be him. We're only gonna enjoy his days as Golden State. But in terms of a championship, I think that window's long gone.
Long gone.
It's definitely gone. So yeah, I think we'll leave it there. So yeah, the next topic I wanted to discuss was I wanted to talk about Anthony Edwards. Outside of being snubbed, Jordan, you did point out and mention something about the Minnesota Timberwolves. Michaela, I think to you as well. I did ask this the previous episode, but I kind of want to break it down. Do you think that they can? Do you think they'll make, like, what are your predictions? Do you think they can get past the Western Conference Finals finally with the way things are going? Do you think it's the same? Do they need to make any adjustments? I'll leave it to anyone.
For me,
Anthony.
they definitely need to make adjustments now. Starting it off with Rudy Gobert, he needs to be gone. I swear. I really don't like.
But he's Defensive Player of the Year. I'm joking.
Yes, but he's not the Offensive Player of the Year. He's got no bag.
You cannot be Defensive Player of the Year if you foul out almost every game.
Exactly. And not only that, it's just the fact that he has no lateral movement. He's just tall. He's just a stick. He only gets blocks underneath the paint because someone's trying to post up on him. But when you have him in isolation and you try to drive on him, you're going to pass by him and he won't be able to recover. And he's just slow for a big guy. And he has no footwork, no hook shots. He's just literally just stand and dunk guy, He's an alley-oop type of player. But that's pretty much it. Fuck, he had, there are games, and the thing is, he can't even make free throws. He's a really bad free throw shooter. And again, throughout the years, he's just never improved. No mid-range, no nothing. So not even a floater to say.
Not even a layup.
Yeah, so it's kind of annoying that that the Minnesota Timberwolves just chose to stick with Rudy Gobert as their main center and not look elsewhere in the market. But I feel like teams would definitely be interested to get Rudy Gobert. I feel like at this point, he's better off in a different team, and I feel like that's where Minnesota should definitely shop around on. And next thing that I feel like the Minnesota Timberwolves need is another scorer outside Jaden McDaniels, because he's the second aside from Julius Randle. I mean, Jaden McDaniels is here's a hot take for me. Yeah, he's a much better scorer and defender than Julius Randle.
Oh, that's facts.
Yeah, because
for
Julius
facts.
Randle, he can score, but his defense sucks.
Jad hates Randall.
I don't necessarily think he's a good scorer. And here's why.
No, he has his moments where he's a good scorer when he feels like when he's on, when when he's in rhythm, but everything else is just inconsistent. And like what Michaela said earlier today, I agree with what she said about Julius Randle being a hero ball. He keeps doing that shit. And the thing is, if you're gonna be a hero ball, you have to be a really consistent player in those moments, or like when people know they can rely on you. And the thing is, he's always been known to keep breaking shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like. So yeah, like to me, I feel like with Julius Randle, it's either he knows his place on the team, or he should definitely be shipped out of there next thing in the morning. And I feel like with Julius Randle, if you try to put him and Gobert, you can definitely get a lot of decent players on that team in exchange for those two. But again,
did you hear the pair up that they were like tossing around, like maybe Ant and Ja, and Jad was saying that would be really, really good. Like Ja Morant.
I feel like with that type of like that type of combination, you can never put a primary scorer with another ball handler, because they both need the ball in their hands. And like you can see how in the Memphis situation, you can see how they moved Ja all of a sudden to the shooting guard, because they're relying on Jalen Wells to be the point guard. And I noticed that Ja Morant's been so frustrated that
he needs the ball.
He needs the ball in his hand, and he can't produce as much as he can without it. He's not a spot up shooter. He's he's like a Westbrook type of player. You see how you need Westbrook to be a point guard for him to make an impact. And I noticed when they moved Ja to the shooting guard position, his impact for Memphis just declined from there on. And I see why he was arguing with the coach. Like there were multiple instances where he was really pissed off at the coaching staff. Like they weren't playing him right. So to me, that take about Ja and Anthony playing alongside together is, to me, I don't think it's gonna blend well. I feel like, to me, the more realistic thing for him to go to a team is probably the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat is lacking on the point guard position.
Yeah.
And I feel like that on that team as well, he's definitely gonna have a much more complete team than he had with Memphis, when he had Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, him himself, and
Jaren Jackson and all that.
Jaren Jackson. Yeah, I like that team that went 7 games with Golden State. He'd have much better lineup with the Miami Heat than he had with that team that year. So that's my take on where Ja belongs. But going back to the Minnesota Timberwolves thing, yeah, I feel like they should definitely get rid of those two forwards and the center. Sorry, not the two forwards, just one forward and one center.
So get rid of Randall and Gobert is what you're saying?
Yeah, and yeah, Mike Conley, I feel like he should just definitely be a Udonis Haslem on the team. Like, stop playing, just be the voice, a leadership. Because
that's what I said. I was like, Mike's done. He needs to retire.
Yeah, he's done.
I hate it.
I forgot which game where I think it was today's game where he played 15 minutes and didn't do shit.
His last game that I watched, he had 0.
He had a quadruple single. He had a quadruple donut. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he did.
I feel like they need
that's good status right there. That's some goat shit right there, to be on the court and have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. The only stat he had is he had more high fives than fucking field goal attempts.
Yeah, so put sweat pads, get your hoodie, just be part of the coaching staff at this point. Because fuck, you ain't bringing shit to the table.
But that's the thing that we were, like, me and Michaela were saying, like, if Ja and paired up, Ja becomes the new point guard instead of Mike, because I was telling Michaela that Mike is a traditional point guard. Like he's the last of a dying breed, like Chris Paul, Rondo, stuff like that, in terms of facilitating. But his shot's not been going in. So
Yeah.
if you bring in Ja, who's a traditional point guard, well, he can be a traditional point guard and a scorer. It takes all the pressure off Ant and less reliance on Randall.
Yeah.
Because
But that confuses me. On paper, Anthony Edwards is a shooting guard, but on the court, he's a point guard, and they put DiVincenzo on the shooting guard. So it just kind of confused me on
so they're trying
where.
shit. Yeah, they're trying shit. But the problem is sometimes they put him in a small forward.
Yeah, exactly. So you're playing with these play style, and it's just it that can it has its pros and cons. It can help a player out. It can make a player worse. So to me, I feel like you can put Ant in any position, but I feel like the best position to always put him in is a shooting guard.
Shooting guard. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, not in the point guard, because with the point guard,
everything.
Yeah.
now being a point guard and being the scorer of the team, that's too much offensive pressure, offensive skill set.
Not to mention energy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing with Golden State. That's why Curry's a ball handler, but you can see he's a playmaker at the same time. But majority of the time, he's gonna make shit for himself. He's gonna let people dribble the court, dribble the ball to the other side, and then make a play, set a screen, get the ball back, and shoot it. Because it like, again, the energy you need to become a point guard and a scorer at the same time, you need those fresh legs. You need unlimited breathing for that shit.
Again, that's where Ja comes in. That's where I feel like he would be best, but it doesn't matter because he's not leaving Memphis.
Anytime.
So
the guy has a
there goes that theory. Uncle Lou, from the past history, they've made the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. Do you think they've got what it takes? Do you think they can beat OKC, knowing that they lost last night? Do you think they learned it from their mistakes? That if they face OKC again, that they'll redeem themselves? Or do you think it's the same result?
Shit, that's a tough question. Because this, if you had to decide on their on the learning curves, have they learned how OKC operates? Because I didn't see it this year, but because OKC's been I think the consistency of they have good chemistry, and they have they make good plays. I reckon OKC is going to come out on top for me, but that's what I see.
Yeah.
That's how I perceive it. Things.
Yeah. So you think Minnesota hasn't really learned anything, that they're just gonna
they're like, don't get me wrong, they're a great team, but I don't think that it probably, the lack of the better word is measure up. I mean, they have all the skills, they have all they're a great team, but it just, to me, I just don't see it measuring up to OKC, because they've been playing well, and I haven't seen them put a foot wrong.
Yeah.
In during the season, man. So I think I'm going to pick OKC on this one.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I generally think if their ceiling is gonna be maybe second round this time. I don't think they'll make Western Conference Finals this year. Generally because of the other teams that if they face those top teams, OKC, Denver, Houston, I think those three teams will still beat Minnesota despite how well Ant's playing.
Yeah.
You are right though, Uncle Lou, about in terms of the foot being wrong, that and OKC being running smoothly, everything's running smoothly, they're making the right plays. I feel like with Minnesota, everything's just on the fly. Like, let me try and make something out of this broken play.
Yeah.
Like, that's where Randall comes in, and that's where the frustration comes in, because when Randall has the ball, I noticed that his efficiency is more in the paint.
Yeah.
But what he's trying to do is he's trying to take these step back jump shots, 3-pointers, like he's trying to become a shooting guard, when really what we lack in Minnesota is a forward or someone that can attack the paint, like an Anthony Davis. And that's what Karl Anthony Towns was. But then he was focused on shooting, that we needed to make a trade for someone who could play like an Anthony Davis. And that's where we thought Randall was coming in, and which he showcased that in the playoffs last year. But then somewhere along the lines, he just thought, I've been working on my shooting, I'm going to shoot. He doesn't really notice that if he looks at his own highlights, he has a more higher efficiency in the paint than outside of it. And so because of that, he's going to continue to try shooting that ball till he's perfected it. But then by then, the window's closed. If he continues to do this, and I'm going to jump ahead because the Knicks right now, they're struggling. Okay, the Knicks have lost 9 of their last 10 games. Ever since the NBA Cup, they haven't been the same. And rumor has it that Karl Anthony Towns they're looking at offers for Karl Anthony Towns. If I'm Minnesota, I kind of want to make up for that mistake and bring him back, because it is possible. We do have some pieces here that we don't really use, and like to Jordan's point, to Michaela's point, to yours, we can get rid of the players that we mentioned along with some picks, get Cat back, because I feel like Cat and Anthony had more chemistry than what Randall and Cat have now. Have now. So yeah, I just think that doesn't even matter what they do now. I think once the playoffs start, first round, cool. After that, until Randall develops some discipline, and until Rudy gets his free throws in, until DiVincenzo can find his footing, I just don't see them. Yeah, I don't see them as well just getting past OKC or making it this year. Sadly, as I kind of want them to for Mike Conley, because I know Ant wants to win it for Mike Conley, but I just don't see it happening with the way that they're constructed. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm just gonna go move on to the final topic now. We'll make this a quick one. So the final topic is the Los Angeles Lakers. Kind of been a lot of up and down. Being blown out against the Kings. They losing. I mean, they lost to Giannis. They lost to, I think, the Spurs, and then they barely won against Denver today. And
knowing that they had
knowing that they didn't have Jokic, they didn't have any of their starters. So just going around the table, what can the Lakers, what can we do? What is there anything we can do? Is there any advice that we could do for this roster? Are we gonna just sit here and hope that the next game that they can play? What's going on?
I'll go first. AR needs to come back. They were doing so well with him, and they're doing so badly without him. Just an observation from someone who's not a massive basketball fan.
I truly agree with that.
She took my answer, huh?
Yeah. That's
so it was valid.
Yes. It's valid.
Yeah, clearly the struggles that they have. But the scary part is even with AR, it's still the exact same worry, because it's the rest of the team that's the problem. I think we've all said this in the past. It's just LeBron, AR, and Luka. If you watch, if you look back, if you just watch the highlights, majority of the time the ball is either in those 3 people's hands. We don't really see, Jake LaRavia, Marcus Smart, or anyone else take charge.
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton, apparently he made history.
Yeah.
He's got a perfect 10 for 10 shooting night. I think it's just become the third Laker to ever achieve this feat. But it's just
the problem is though, there's no.
It's not tough.
I like Ayton. Jordan, we like Aiton. When he subs out though, who makes up the points on his end at the center position?
Yeah,
Jackson.
I saw a lot of alley oops today from
Yep.
Jackson Hayes, but that comes from Luka. It's not
Yeah.
Jackson making his own shots. DeAndre
Mhm.
Ayton can make his own shots.
Yep.
And then we keep saying this in the previous episodes, but just to break it down more further, if there's rumors going around that there was someone saying that we should trade either AR or LeBron specifically because their values are still so high that we can get a lot of things back.
Yeah.
If we do that, either one that we do, it's basically going to be around Luka. It's not going to cater towards LeBron. So if we get rid of AR, it's more of to help Luka build something
And
to help
LeBron.
him, and LeBron piggybacks. If you lose LeBron, you get all these pieces. It's the other way around. It's for Luka, and then AR is the secondary option, or AR is the piggybacks around that.
Yep.
But you're not getting anything if you have all three. So you have to give away one of the big pieces, which is going to be only those two.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask me, I'll take it from here.
Yeah.
Yes. Even if I wanted to trade LeBron, this happened. This was said by someone, I forgot whose name it was, during the off season. That if you were to trade LeBron James now, there's no market for him. Because one, he has a huge contract. Two, he's a player who barely has a season left in him. And three, you'd have to trade key players just to acquire him. So why would you trade key players who have multiple years left in them for someone who you're not even sure if he's going to still be around the next season? So to me, even if you wanted to trade LeBron, there's just no one's going to be willing to take up how much he's worth. And even if it's just contract wise, money wise, it's not worth it. And he takes up too much cap space on the team. And the thing is, to acquire him, you're going to have to give up really good players just to get him. And for me, so the most realistic thing to do is to keep him and then trade AR, because AR is young, and aside from that, he's cheap to get. It wouldn't take too much to acquire him because he's only on a 72 4-year deal, 72 million 4-year deal. So he's not really that much. And again, the Lakers better give him something big or get something out of him, because if Lakers lowball him, he's gonna get a much better contract somewhere else. So if Lakers aren't gonna be willing to give him a really good max deal for the next few years, trade him now to get something in return, because his values is definitely up there. So the most realistic thing that the Lakers can do to definitely help them improve is, if they're not gonna focus on keeping AR and Luka as a duo in the next coming years, then trade AR now so you can get someone or a better superstar that can match with Luka's energy and development throughout the years. So that's just my take, that it would have to be Reeves for the Lakers better. Yeah. But I'd also probably throw Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent off the team, because I don't know, they're so inconsistent. I'm really surprised with Rui Hachimura's performance this season. I thought he was gonna probably be like a 15-point scorer per game, or at least 17. But just, I don't know. I feel like it's because the Lakers just chose to go to that path on trying to go with Marcus Smart and Jake LaRavia, and the points or the minutes that were supposed to be given to Rui Hachimura, or even the playmaking, went to them. So you can see throughout the entire game, he barely contributes now, and there's more offensive plays for LaRavia and for Marcus Smart to make something. So for me, I feel like you should probably get rid of those three as well, especially Gabe Vincent. He's a good 3-point shooter, but to me, he's a bad defender. If you look at the tapes and stuff, he's just too small. and he's always when teams give an off ball screen, and whoever he's defending, he can't run past to the screen. He gets stuck there. And I've seen multiple plays where, he's too slow to react to other guards moving around him. And to me, he's just a really bad defensive liability on that team. So those are the three players that, if I need to get something big, it'd be those three players I'd trade for. But for now, I do hope that the Lakers do keep AR, because we've seen AR and Luka play. They both complement each other. And
yeah.
And to me, I as a Lakers fan, I really do hope that we keep AR, knowing that, he developed with us. He became this type of player with us, and I hope that he keeps his career with us throughout his career. But yeah, that's just my take on it.
Hypothetically, Uncle, I'll ask you this question: if Giannis Antetokounmpo was on the table, and we give away AR, we give away Gabe, we give away Rui, we give away a bunch of picks, would you do it?
Me?
No,
If I were,
Uncle Lee. I'll ask Uncle Lee. Both of you. Both of you. Uncle Lee, would you pull that trigger?
Absolutely. But I think, you know who would be a perfect fit? Because I think before the trading deadlines, they should target Ja Morant to come to the Lakers.
Tell you what, Ja Morant. Okay, yeah, like that's another big name. But if any of those big names, if you had to move away from AR, you would do it?
Yes, I would. Definitely.
See, for me, I would trade AR no matter what for anything good, because we're just too damn small. We really are. You know what's the crazy part? When I watched the Denver game today, this Timmy center,
Blue Tim,
he scored, was it 9 points?
Yep.
He scored 9 points. He scored 5 points in a minute.
Yeah.
Jared Vanderbilt, Max Kleber, Jackson Hayes, those are our three bigs behind Ayton. This is a big that's signed as a two-way, and he scored more than the three players I just mentioned.
Yeah.
That's the type of players that we need in this roster. Players that when they get the ball, they can do something with it outside of looking for an open shooter or just passing the ball. We don't need that. We need other threats outside of Luka, AR, and LeBron. Now, I'm willing to sacrifice AR because, to your point, LeBron's older. No one's going to want him. So I'd rather get rid of AR. I'd rather get rid of Gabe. I'd rather get rid of Laravia. Maxi Kleber and Jackson Hayes. I try to keep Rui, but if I have to, I'll get rid of him, specifically because they're just so small and they don't produce. The majority of them have the 0-0-0, like the donut effect when they're on the court. They play heavy minutes, but they don't produce anything. And yet you got a guy who's assigned on a two-way. He's fighting for his life. He's giving you quality buckets, quality minutes, and you can see the urgency that he's trying to earn a roster spot.
Yep.
The people that are already there, they're thinking that their contract and their life in the NBA is guaranteed, but you can be replaced, just like Timmy here. Nick Smith Jr. is also a two-way player, but he's aggressive, but he can play.
Yeah.
So keep him. Yeah. The players that they should be looking out in free agency is none of these shooters. Stop looking for shooters. I think they're looking for too many two-way players, but you have to really, really look at how they perform on the offensive end more than the defensive end, because two-way is a two-way street. They're clearly thinking defense as well as their offense, but majority of them focus only on defense.
Yeah.
And Timmy and Nick Smith Jr. are the only two players that stand out. Even Kobe Buffkin, I think he can give you some minutes as well. He can give you some playing time over Marcus Smart or Jake LaRavia.
Yeah.
You see? And for me personally, I would trade AR because also in the past when playoffs begin, everyone targets these guys because of the height, because of the size.
Yep.
I'm gonna say it. I've said it before. I'm gonna say it again. Yeah. Because every game we watch now, it's a roller coaster. Like, did you see that they got blown out by Charlotte?
Yep.
There was no defense.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, there was no defense there.
Yeah.
I was expecting them to win, but
Yep.
the way that the size that they are, how small we are, and the lack of urgency defensively is so consistent that JJ Redick doesn't know what to do, and he can't really. It's not. I don't think he's talking to the team. I don't think they're connected. Whereas the two-way guys, that their life is on the line, that they're committed, they're fully committed to the cause, that they want to
Yep.
be successful in this team. You know, so I just think that's my take. I think AI needs to go in order to, for the sake of the Lakers being relevant again. LeBron,
Yeah.
it's up to you. If you can get something, cool. If not, ride the ship and then do a farewell tour elsewhere. Because if
Yeah.
not, if we don't do anything and LeBron leaves, once LeBron leaves and we're stuck with AR and Luka, if they don't pick up the right pieces, you're going to be back to 2017 all over again when they had Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon. Like, you're going to have a bunch of nice players, but no one's going to pay attention to you because you're going to lose a lot of games.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm worried about if we don't do something now.
Yeah.
And soon, because playoffs is just around the corner, and they're number 4 right now, number 5, I think. The Lakers, they're something. No, I think they're number 6. No, they're number 6.
Yeah, they're 6. They're 6.
They're
'cause
6.
They were on a 3-game losing streak
Yeah.
before they won against Denver a while ago.
Yeah. They need to make a trade because number 6, you do not want to be a playoff again. You do not want to be in the play-in every year because you play an extra game.
Yeah.
There's a chance of you getting eliminated, and then the other team, once playoff begin, they have extra legs.
Yeah.
And you're just gonna make Luka and LeBron more fatigued, and then you have to rely on those names that we just mentioned.
Yeah.
But yeah, now, do you want to add anything else, Uncle Lou, before we wrap up?
No, I think that's about it for me. That's pretty much
Yeah.
my knowledge.
Yeah. Do you still confident in OKC? Do you think they'll repeat?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe they're like I said, I don't think they put a foot wrong. They've consistently managed to work their way up, and they're playing really well, I think.
No, absolutely. I agree. Before we go, I just wanted to give a big shout out to my guy Nardu. He's been the go-to guy. He supports this channel. He's been watching our vids. He knows you, Jordan, and Justin, and all of us. I really want to give this shout out to him for the support. So yeah, I hope to see him. I'm gonna see his ass tomorrow. Give him a piece of my mind. But yeah, I'd like to take the time to appreciate all those that have been watching and following, and hopefully you can spread the word, get those views up, get the subscribers up, so we can do this live, and get everyone involved, get the chat involved. I want people to give us criticism, give us whatever, just say something. Get us engage with us. Don't be afraid to reach out and stuff like that. But so I just want to say thank you guys for your time. I appreciate all those watching, and this is another episode of Hoops with JV. I'm Jad Vasquez here with my man Jordan and my uncle, the GOAT, Uncle Lou. Appreciate it, and I hope to see you all for the next one.
Peace out, guys.
Thanks, baby.